Welcome to the Mark Silver Show, Advancing Your Photography, where we bring you tips from remarkable photographers about how to take photographs you love. We're here in San Francisco with the very talented R.C. Rivera, fashion and advertising photographer. Thanks for joining us, R.C., on my photo show.
Thanks, Mark. Pleasure to be here.
Now tell me about your style of photography and the type of work you really love to do.
A lot of people told me that my images tend to be a lot like a movie, like a cinematic and very moody, lots of shadows. The type of work that I love to do is fashion and beauty, and in editorial and commercial advertising.
So R.C., let's take a look at how you get your shots. What are some of the key points that you use every time you pick up a camera?
Well, to start off, I usually research what I'm shooting.
Okay.
I scout the location if I can, and if I can't, like on a day before the shoot. If I don't have that, I try to show up maybe 2 hours early to a shoot, and then kind of walk around, and and look at what's there basically, because I don't want to be surprised at something. Another thing that I usually use is my 50mm lens. That's the first lens I always put on. No matter if the shot needs to be a close-up or a wide shot, I always start with a 50.
Interesting.
I learned with a 50mm lens and an old Pentax K1000.
Right.
And that's the only lens that I had. So what I think it does, for me anyway, is it makes me analyze the shot. I pick it up and I see, if I need to move back, I actually physically move back. Right. And if I need to go closer, I walk forward.
A lot of photographers forget that they have legs.
Yes, that's true.
You can move around.
I think with a zoom lens now, a lot of people just kind of, zoom in if they need to, zoom out. Yeah. But I think with a 50, it makes you kind of analyze your shot, think about what you're doing.
Yeah.
But when I go into a shoot, I try to imagine what shot I would like to end up with. You try to assemble in your head kind of a scene, like a movie, like what that end image is going to be. Okay, so R.C., talking about lighting, so you have really used lighting well. What are some of your key lighting tips? First lighting tip I would suggest is start with one light. I learned from a still life photographer who is, who are masters of lighting. Right. What you do is you basically take your subject, and then you take one light and play around with it. Just a key light? Just a key light. Okay. And that key light can do a lot of wonders. You study your subject, you put the light right in front, and you see where the shadows fall. So what are some other points that you use to change the mood? Well, shadows for me work really well as far as depicting a mood. When I first learned photography, they told you to put the light behind, in front of the subject, right. So you have a well-lit subject. But I experimented and I played around with it, and I found that if you move your light a little, 45 degrees behind, you get a lot more shadows. So, judging, like in the movies back in the day, the shadows were, used to depict nighttime. Right. So that's one tool that I use. Can you talk a little bit more about lighting? One thing that I had in my head for a long time is, if your meter tells you this shutter speed and this aperture, right. I tended to follow that all the time, which I got the perfect exposure, but it wasn't the lighting that I wanted. It wasn't the mood that I wanted it to. So my advice would be, play around with it. If your meter tells you it's 1/25 second at 5/6, try stopping it down. Try overexposing it, try underexposing it by 2 stops, and see what happens. R.C., any other points of advice you'd like to give our viewers? Yes. One thing that I learned late in the game was how to get models, or where to find models, or good models, or even makeup artists or hairstylists. And what I did learn was you can actually contact big agencies, big modeling agencies, to borrow their models and their makeup artists and stylists. And what you need to do is, first be prepared, because you need an amazing book. and then you know, a portfolio, and call them up, show up, and say, you know, hey, I'm a budding fashion photographer, and I would like to shoot and use some of your models. And if you have a good book and you become prepared, you know, they'll usually give you a break and try you out.
RC, I really appreciate having you on my show.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here and giving us an inside look into your world of photography.
You're welcome. It was great to be here.
Be sure to join our Advancing Your Photography Club to have fun while learning photography. Also, check out our guest site for a closer look at their work. Tune in to our next episode of Advancing Your Photography. Until then, this is Mark Silber reminding you to get out and take photographs you love.